previously on WFX Overload.
A good old thumb in the eye, as you know, Mike. We'll stop it, but only for a second.
And
Come
there's
on,
the
Zbyszko.
living legend getting involved in the action, and he doesn't have to. Oh,
That's got to be it. Come on, that's got to be it. Absolutely.
And there your winner is. It's the Human Massacre, Keith Walker. And
Luke is not looking good. It does not look good now. Wait,
he does not need the chain. Wait a minute. No. This is not good.
This is not needed. We need to get some help out here for Luke. And oh, come on.
This is wrong.
He does
this
not
is
have to
wrong.
do this. And look at Zbyszko. Zbyszko holding back referee Kenny Rogers. Not like Kenny Rogers has
Why
got
is
the
he
ability to stop him. Oh, come on. He's got to get that chain off his throat. This is not wrestling anymore. He can do some serious damage here. Do you understand? This is not appropriate whatsoever. He may have crushed his larynx. He may have damage to his windpipe. I mean, this is not good at all. Now, how do you think these two guys feel now? They set him up for this.
Like they should feel rotten.
Absolutely.
They set him up as a joke.
The Human Massacre, Keith Walker, certainly making a name for himself here, Mike. What can you say other than he is definitely a menace to society in WFX wrestling?
Larry Zbyszko said he'd be the last wonder of the world and the next world champion, and I think both are very accurate statements.
All I can tell you is this, Mike. I don't want to meet that guy in a dark alley, and I'll tell you something else. I don't want to meet this guy in a dark alley, Michael Elgin, because he might think that maybe perhaps I was making eyes at his girlfriend.
Well, hey, this is quite a matchup here on WFX Overload. You have Wavell Starr coming off a win last week where he defeated Prime Cut John Cutler, and you have Michael Elgin coming off a loss to Kip. And I think that's a real interesting matchup.
Well, Michael Elgin made a very good showing last week against Kip. There's no question about that. But I will tell you this, he's got another test on his hands against Wavell Starr.
Well, he's got something on his hands. He probably puts some Tiger Bomb on there to get an unfair competitive advantage.
I can only imagine. I don't even want to go there.
You rub that in your opponent's face and the guy can't breathe. It makes his eyes water. He can't see straight. That's how I would do things.
Well, you being a little bit on the other side, I guess you could say. Maybe not on the up and up, if you will.
I'm as straight as an arrow. I told you what I would have done.
I guess you did, actually, yes. Wavell Starr in control, though, with a side headlock, and Elgin takes him to the corner.
Get him off me! Come on, break the hold. Come on. Get him off me!
Why is he telling him to get him off of him? He's got the upper hand if he wants it in the corner.
Well, Elgin took advantage of of Kenny Rogers, referee Kenny Rogers trying to break it clean, and gave Wavell Starr a nice shot to the midsection, if
Michael
you will.
Elgin is as tough as nails. He reminds me of a lot of those guys. He's not 6'5" and whatever it is, but he's got that brute strength, and he just looks like a type of guy you wouldn't want to fist fight.
Absolutely. You know, he's a powerhouse, and with a side headlock right now, Wavell Starr has no choice but to try to give him a couple of shots to the kidney area rather. Oh, wow. Big elbow right to the mush, and Wavell Starr seems to be having the tide turning his way, if you will.
And Wavell was setting him up for something else, but he saw the opportunity to elbow him in the back and take the upper hand. Oh!
Now that's a little bit of an insult, I would say, wouldn't you think?
Yeah, I don't understand that. That's only gonna serve to fire up Michael Elgin.
Elgin going over the top rope there. Probably a little bit of a time for him to take a breather. I think do you think he might have underestimated Wavell Starr a little bit?
I can tell you the people here love Wavell Starr. He's the crowd favorite in this match. But Elgin has not done anything to endear himself to the local fans at all. Well, no, absolutely. And, you know, the big thing, too, Elgin is very protective about Addison, his girlfriend. He's made no bones about that. On many times we've seen him have interviews where he said, you know, she's my property almost, if you will, and I don't want anyone to look at her or talk to her or touch her, nothing, you know? Yeah, he's very possessive, I think is the word. Well, you've summed it up for sure. Wavell Starr said he's had enough, and he's heading outside the ring now, going after Elgin. That's not where, I don't think that's the smart move for Wavell. Wavell should keep it in the ring. Well, now look at this. Come on now, Mike. Look what he's doing. See, I talked about his possessive nature. You talked about his possessive nature, and now he doesn't want anyone to get near his girlfriend. That is a coward move as far as I don't think that is cowardly at all. Well, what's Wavell Starr going to do? Is he actually going to... Oh, see? He was throwing his girlfriend at Wavell. He's giving him a gift. A gift? There was a gift. He threw his girlfriend into Wavell's arms. Well, that's one time you don't want to look a gift horse in the mouth, maybe. But Elgin now with the advantage and rams Wavell Starr. That lower back now taking a shot not only to the barricade, but to the ring apron. Michael Elgin has shown me a lot in the last couple of weeks. You know, he beat Danny Duggan in about 5 minutes in the first episode of WFX Overload. Then he went about 12 minutes with Kip last week. This guy is tough. Don't underestimate him.
He's tough and he's doing the right thing. He's smart. He's working on a body part. So many times we see guys that are unexperienced or inexperienced, Mike, and they don't have the knowledge. But Michael Elgin, he's injured the lower body parts of Wavell Starr by ramming him into the apron and into the barricade, and he's continuing to work on it. Now he's got him in a big bear hug, and this is
a
only
big bear hug as opposed to a medium-sized bear hug there?
Well, it depends. If you want to supersize it, I can tell you that Wavell Starr is not going to be feeling the effects of this for much longer if he can help it. But right now, this has got to be hurting his lower back.
Wavell's a big crowd favorite by beating John Cutler, who's another crowd favorite last week. He's got that allegiance to Eugene Dinsmore, where he's been trying to lead Eugene, out of that situation where Johnny Fairplay exploited him. Wavell's just an all-round good guy.
Oh man, only a 2 count, and Elgin a little bit upset. You know, you're right, Wavell is definitely a good guy, but last week you talked about it, Mike. He is definitely more of an aggressor, especially when we're comparing him to someone like John Cutler.
Well, but I don't think he's as aggressive as Michael Elgin. This guy is like a bull seeing red.
You got it, you got it. Now, Elgin, in my opinion, has got to go a little bit harder and faster right now because you see he took his time. The first knife edge, and a second one.
Those don't feel good ever. Never. I've never had one of those feel good.
But look at that. You see Wavell Starr, the lower back. Elgin had been working on it, and Wavell Starr was unable to pick up Elgin. Now, keeping in mind, even if Wavell Starr was fresh, Elgin is still a pretty big boy. What's he weighing in, 250, 260?
Yeah, but it's a brute 250.
Absolutely.
He's like a brick house.
Yeah. Elgin now still with the advantage. And it looks as though he's going back to work on the lower back of Wavell Starr. That is good, smart wrestling. Like I said, he's picking a body part and he's staying with it.
You know what? Kenny Rogers is right in there too, because it's not going to be a case where I think Wavell will give up, but Wavell might, when you have that amount of pressure on your lower back, you may just not be able to keep the arm up. There Wavell was.
Yes, Wavell was able to keep it up, but you're right. Kenny Rogers in there. Maybe Wavell, it's quite possible Wavell could not communicate to Kenny Rogers.
Yeah, because the air is out of his...
That's right.
Yeah.
Oh, man, right in the corner. Elgin looks like he wants to set him up for something big here. And Wavell with a front atomic drop, bit of a reversal. How's his lower back though? Knee lift right to the mush once again. Shot to the midsection. Wavell blocking the punch and blocking it again.
Why is he kicking him in the crotch? Is that legal? Kenny Rogers hasn't even positioned himself to know.
Well, maybe he was hitting him low, but I'll tell you, man, those knife edge chops, pardon me, from Wavell Starr, one of the best in the business.
Yeah, he might be the hardest chopping guy in WFX. And the people certainly respond to every one of those.
Oh, for sure. And Elgin responding too by, man,
that was the hardest one of the 5. I could tell by the way it sounded in my...
You think so?
Yeah.
Okay.
The way it hurt my eardrum, I can tell you that one hurt the worst.
It echoed across the room. Elgin trying for a reversal of his own, and Wavell.
Okay, that one's the worst. That one was the worst. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. That one might have broke skin. I think I heard the skin break.
Look at the look on Elgin's face. He's not really appreciating those shots, but a reversal. Elgin coming in, and a boot to the face, and Wavell now is going upstairs. Second turnbuckle on the inside, a tomahawk to the forehead.
Wow. Wavell leaning on his lineage to really have every advantage you can have. Wahoo McDaniel would be proud.
I think you're right, Mike. And Wavell setting him up now, but Elgin reversing. Oh man.
I have to tell you something. Michael Elgin has wrestled this match as smart as any one guy can. Because a lot of times you'll see a wrestler work the left knee and then the back and then the head. He is stuck to the lower back like a target. Just a wonderful performance.
Oh, sunset flip.
He should have held on to the rope yet. Well,
he's going for the pinfall. Hey, wait a minute.
Come on, Kenny Rogers. No! Yes, well, because I wanted Michael Elgin to win, so I'm okay with this. But Kenny Rogers, you're supposed the position to watch the guy's shoulders, but you have to be aware of what's going on. Kenny Rogers drinks or something.
Well, Kenny Rogers did not see Elgin hanging on to the top.
I saw Kenny Rogers drinking vodka in the back,
now,
and it's clear. It's clear the guy was drunk.
It's clear it might have been water because vodka has the same consistency. Nonetheless, you got to say a creative victory from Michael Elgin, but really, you're right. Kenny Rogers missing the obvious. He held on to the middle rope, and he got an unfair advantage. But unfortunately, the referee can only see so much, Mike.
But you know what? I'm impressed because I like Michael Elgin. And if you'd ask me, but I'm not allowed to say during the match, I can only say after. I like Michael Elgin. I'm glad he won that match. I'm glad he did everything he had to do to win that match.
Well, Wavell Starr not happy and not the victor. Elgin is your winner.
And I'll tell you, if you want to know more about the company, WFXWrestling.com.
Easy, blood. Come here. Come here. Has anybody tasted you yet?
What do you mean?
Easy, 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 easy. Don't have to get all nervous. Wow, that heart's beating. Smell it. We don't bite. We're just asking if you need a friend. Everybody around here needs a friend.
Look, man, just leave me alone.
See, Apoc here, he can be your friend and play nice. Or he can be your worst freaking nightmare.
Looks like you've got options.
So, dude, check this out. Luke, he totally passed on, and I think you should come check out the memorial service, all right? Hey, you can have one too. You guys, get your cell phones out, your Facebooks, your MySpace, text your buddies. Hey, you guys, call your friends, bring your dates, bring your buddies, bring your boyfriends. I don't care what you guys do, but check this out. Best memorial service ever. So make sure everybody comes. The more the merrier. You know, it's going to be a party. Taco bar and everything. Hey, Larry, hey, don't go away.
What do you mean he's dead? Is this some kind of a joke? Another joke?
A joke. Luke's career. His career's kind of been dead for years.
What career? Look, last time we left Luke here, he was breathing, so what's this nonsense? I don't have time for your nonsense, kid. No more nonsense.
Larry, the living legend, you know, Luke kind of respected you, and he thought
You told me Luke said I was the worst world champion ever.
That was a mistake. Everybody makes mistakes. In fact, I kind of feel horrible about it. And Darren Corbin, he feels bad too. He's seen a therapist.
He's seen a therapist. You made a mistake that almost ended a guy's career. Do I look like Phil Donahue? Do I have time to listen to you cry the blues to me? I'm the living legend, Jack. I've got the human massacre that's going to become the next heavyweight champion of the planet. You got it?
So you're going to come next week?
So I'll think about it. How about that? I'll think about it. Jerk off.
Best memorial service ever.
What is wrong
boys and girls representing
with
the
Eric Cannon that he would be promoting a funeral for someone I don't believe is dead?
No, I'm pretty sure that Bushwhacker Luke is alive and kicking.
Somewhere.
Well, somewhere.
He might be retired after the beating he took.
He did take quite the beating, but yeah, I don't even know if I could even say anything that's going to sum that up. That's just one of the most bizarre things ever. Well,
there's nothing wrong with that guy.
Well, there is.
I mean, there's something wrong with these guys after what they did with Danny Duggan a little earlier.
I don't even know if I can comment on that either, because we're talking about bizarre. These three guys take the cake.
You know, and I used to think it's psychological. What they're trying is an advantage on their opponent, and they knew Apoc is going to wrestle Danny, throw him off his game a little bit, but that was creepy. They say they want his blood, but not like where you're going to get a fight with somebody, I'm going to make you bleed. It was kind of like,
well, you know, Gangrel has been known in the past to follow the legitimate rights of the vampire cult, I guess, if you will. And I don't really know, and it kind of creeps me out just to talk about it, you know?
Well, hotshot Danny Duggan, the opponent of Apoc tonight, one of the most popular guys
And
in
his
WFX,
opponent,
but that doesn't matter. Because being
weighing
popular
in
with the fans often makes you
at
a target with the other
205
wrestlers.
pounds,
So all it is a
from
license to
Elgin,
get beat up more
Iowa.
often.
Well, I don't want to say that
Hotshot
Danny Duggan has got a target on his
Danny
back, but you're right. I will tell you one thing about Danny Duggan, one of the most popular stars, like you mentioned, here in WFX Wrestling. A credit to the business. He's young. He's in his early 20s. He spends every waking minute that he can either wrestling in a ring, learning his craft, or in the gym working out. And right now he's a little outnumbered, I would say.
Outnumbered, and his game has got to be off because of the way that those guys with that alternative lifestyle talk to him. You got to wonder about all that.
Well, the psychological aspect of that conversation, I don't even know. I can't even finish that sentence.
Thank you, Dr. Dave Thomas.
Well,
quoting psychology now.
I wouldn't go as far as to say I'm a doctor, but I will tell you this.
I certainly wouldn't either. But
hopefully
at least you
nobody's
can
gonna,
admit it.
yeah, hopefully nobody's going to need a doctor when we're done here. Now, Duggan, of course, is even though two members of the Brotherhood, Gangrel and Thorne, are outside the ring, he's still keeping an eye on both of them.
Well, Scotty Bowman should make Gangrel get down to the floor.
Yes, he should. But then again, I don't know what it's like to talk to Gangrel. So, but Duggan now this is a mistake. This is a mistake, and look at that. You know, Apoc.
What was the mistake there?
Well, he should have focused his attentions on Apoc. Now, Gangrel, granted, was on the apron, but he was not inside the ring.
How about you give some credit to Danny Duggan, because he was willing to take on all three.
Well, that's just the kind of guy he is, absolutely, you know, but realistically speaking, his opponent is Apoc, and that's the guy he's got to worry about inside the ring.
That's usually what you'd call a big whip, the way you like to call everything big.
I'd say that's a whip with authority.
Whoa, that's a little bit better. Getting a little better with your words there, Dave Thomas.
Well, I'm trying my best. I want to sign a contract to work for WFX Wrestling. Body slam now, Apoc seeming to have the upper hand. But
Seemingly. What part of that is seemingly?
Well,
he's killing him in there.
He just dropped an elbow, but only got a 2 count out of it.
So now, seemingly, Danny Duggan is coming back, maybe.
No, seemingly Danny Duggan is struggling in the corner, and Apoc, oh! What an uppercut.
It's been all one-sided. You could say that without going on a limb.
Yeah, I could, but I'd rather not. I think Duggan is on Dream Street here, and Apoc now, even though Apoc is obviously in control here, he's got to hook that leg, Mike. We've talked about this week after week. Duggan is no slouch. You got to hook a leg.
Well, with some of the things I've seen with referees around here, Kenny Rogers drinking, all those guys counting.
Come on now.
Counting to 3 when Chevy and Sanchez, 630 pounds combined, are pinning guys together.
You know what? Maybe as somebody who's high up in the WFX rankings of the company, maybe you need to
hierarchy.
Well,
that's the word you're looking for.
You use whatever word you want, Mike, but maybe it's time you had a meeting with the officials here at WFX and explain to them what.
I'd make them all get one universal haircut. They wouldn't be allowed to have style of their own.
Well, they're pretty close.
Fans don't really like this Apoc character.
You know, I think the fans are not really a fan of the Brotherhood nonetheless. And
that's because of that crazy lifestyle of theirs. And by crazy, I don't mean partying. They're lunatics.
They're just different. That's the best way of putting it. And you know what? To each their own, I'll tell you. But I have a hard time making comments on them because they are just that much different.
Credit Duggan for trying to fight that. That one was pretty hard. Chop.
That's a reverse knife edge.
I think there should be a chop contest.
You think so?
Wavell, Starr, Apoc, a couple other people just chop each other till one guy drops.
Well,
it'll chop until they drop.
That would be something that would sell out any arena in North America, don't you think?
I sure think so.
Well, maybe you could book that. Apoc now resorting to tactics that are not unlike the Brotherhood, ripping at the face of Danny Duggan, and as you can see, he did break before the 5 count.
Danny Duggan is actually a well-traveled for 23 years old.
Yes.
He's been everywhere. He's wrestled for the best.
He has actually, and like I said, he's always honing his craft. And there's a reverse knife edge back away. The second one as well on Apoc. Apoc still the aggressor with a shot to the gut. Picks Duggan up now for a body slam. Apoc maybe feeling a little bit confident here as he plays the crowd. And missed the elbow.
Overconfident, apparently.
That's right. Duggan now just struggling to get up to his feet. Apoc went for that uppercut and Duggan moved it now. Duggan returns the favor with an elbow in the corner.
Right to the kisser. Beautiful bulldog, too.
Done with authority and Duggan off the ropes. And a Samoan drop. Referee down, only a 2 count, but very close. And I think that would have been a bit... Oh, wait a minute now. Is that Gangrel?
That was Thorne who grabbed his ankle.
That was Thorne.
But it doesn't matter.
What's Duggan doing? A punch on to both men for the Brotherhood.
And you know what? That's amazing that he has the gusto to try that.
Well, he feels so outnumbered. I guess he's got to do anything he can to fight them back. Big, powerful slam down. You can call it a bookend or a rock bottom.
I don't know if I'd go to the top rope with 2 guys on the outside like that.
Duggan taking a chance here. Double knee. Ooh. Right to the chest of Apoc. Referee is down.
Oh! I didn't think he was going to win that one.
That is a bit of a major upset, but Gangrel in right off the bat. Duggan doesn't even get a chance to celebrate his victory. All 3 members of the Brotherhood in the ring now, and I don't think this is going to be good for Danny Duggan whatsoever.
You know, it's most times you celebrate a victory, but I don't think this is going to be much of a celebration. He should roll out if he can.
I think
get out of there.
Duggan doesn't even know. Now even the referee.
I thought they liked him. Earlier they were like trying to be friends with him.
I guess if, you know, I don't even know how to respond, Mike, because I don't understand how these guys
can't
think.
Be your friend anymore now that you beat them, I guess.
Oh, man, this is not looking good. Duggan now up. Oh, man, almost in a crucifix, if you will. Someone's got to get out there, and someone's got to give him some help. Oh, no.
Oh. He just launched him.
He absolutely launched him across the ring.
That could be a concussion.
You know, and Gangrel now adding some insult to injury, if you will. Finally, we got a bell ringing. Maybe we can get somebody out.
Well, that all-important bell might stop them.
We got to get somebody out here to give him a hand. Come on. And these guys are just relentless, Mike. They won't leave him alone.
These guys are sick. The fact that they like to beat on people 3-on-1 is just too much.
Well, it's an eerie feeling here in the arena, and now Gangrel going, no, come on. Oh, and Paler DDT on Duggan. And nobody does it better than Gangrel, but why, Mike? Why? What's the purpose? What's the point?
Well, I guess if you lost to a young buck in his 20s,
they can avenge the loss all they want, but it's 3-on-1.
And the fans are being heard loud and clear that they're trying to fire Danny up.
I don't think Danny's got any fire left in him at this point. I mean, come on. He's just taken 2 incredible maneuvers, and even if he gets up, it's still 3-on-1. It's almost like
finally.
Well, we got a couple more referees out here. It's like they're stalking their prey.
I don't know that 3 referees are going to be able to take on the Brotherhood if the Brotherhood doesn't want to back off.
And look at that, you know, as if it was nothing, as if it was another day at the office. Thorne puts on his jacket and just stalking. I mean, now he's stalking referee Kelly Russell.
See, and the one thing I'll tell you is they will get fired if they beat up all 3 referees. Because what would the company do?
I think we'd have to.
That would be the end of the episode if no one could officiate the next match.
Well, I guess that's what would happen, I guess, but let's hope for their sake, the referee's sake, that doesn't happen.
I think they've got the message across. They can leave now.
And like I say, Thor just methodical. What would you like to pay $1 to find out what goes on inside his brain?
No.
What makes him tick?
I wouldn't part with the $1 at all. You know what? I don't want to know anything about these guys.
Well, nonetheless, Apoc.
He's the loser of the Brotherhood right now.
That's right. You know, Apoc defeated by Danny Duggan, and you know it was a fantastic ending to the match. Duggan did level him.
And did you notice the way the 2 looked at him in shame as he walked away?
Well, maybe they're not happy, like you say. He did.
Well, I'm sure they're patting him on the back. Well, congratulations on the big loss.
Obviously, not too thrilled with his performance this evening.
Crazy, just crazy. Something not right with those 3.
No,
and they used to have, like, where's Stephon Rose this week?
You know, I'm not too sure, Mike. Duggan needs help.
Well, absolutely needs help. And the fans love him. He's the winner, but he doesn't look like it right now. And that's absolutely crazy. A great performance from Duggan, though, nonetheless.
Backstage with the Canadian crazy horse, Michael Elgin. And Michael, last week, a loss to Kip. This week, you're back to your winning ways.
Last week? You brought me here to talk about last week or tonight? See, the way I look at it, hey, she might be pretty, but all that matters when I'm here is me. My victory tonight is showing the world exactly what I promised, and that's that Michael Elgin will be the dominant force in WFX. You saw it. Everybody at home saw it. Michael Elgin had the match of the night, just like I always do.
Back to ringside.
Well, Mike, after what we saw the human master do the bushwhacker loop, why is Bobby Sharp taking him on this week?
I will tell you why.
Zbyszko.
What happened earlier today, and hopefully we have the footage,
hails from Chicago,
Keith Walker
Illinois,
is a bully. The Human Massacre made a statement by abusing Dan Myers, the 5-star affair partner of Bobby Sharp. And we do have the footage. There it is. He just, for no other reason, decides he's going to be a bully and find a guy in the back and just beat the crap out of Dan Myers. Now, Bobby Sharp, I don't like Bobby Sharp. I'll be very honest about that. But at least Bobby Sharp's doing what's right. The moral fiber of Bobby Sharp is that he's got to stand up for his partner, and you can see it.
Well, Bobby Sharp, you know, as much as he wants to defend the honor of his partner, I'm really afraid to say this, but I'm going to say it. He's got 2 chances tonight, pardon the cliche, Slim and none, and Slim just left town.
Well, you know what I'll say about this? When you were in elementary school or high school or junior high school and a bully beat up your best friend, did you not think you had to stand up and fight?
Well, no, I usually would go to the principal and I would talk to him about it and see if we can get something
Well,
taken
maybe
care
he
of.
needs to get to the principal to get the heck out of the match.
I have a feeling
Oh!
you could send Keith Walker to the principal's office and he'd beat up the principal.
Ooh! Whoa! We've been talking about chops all episode. Now when... Oh!
Keith Walker has got the advantage on them right now. Oh, boy.
Now,
How
I
many
take it all
vertebrae
back.
did he just pop there? Come on.
I take it all back. I take it all back. Bobby Sharp's an idiot because he shouldn't have done this. Your best friend gets beat up. You say to your best friend, well, you shouldn't have been there. Now, should you? Get a door slammed on you for a reason. Oh, this is brutal. This man is impressive.
He is impressive, and that clothesline was impressive. He nearly took his head off for crying out
Last
loud.
wonder of the world, and I'll tell you, as a website exclusive, Jonny Fairplay interviews Larry Zbyszko about this man and his brutality.
Well,
and look at Zbyszko, the cat that ate the canary, website exclusive on WFXWrestling.com. Right now, Jonny Fairplay interviewing Larry Zbyszko about exactly what this guy is going to be the world heavyweight champion.
This
and
is
I believe
uncalled
it.
for. No, this is uncalled for. He's already won. He's completely destroyed Sharp. Why do this? I understand he's making a statement, but the statement has already been made. Oh my God!
Oh!
Referee Kenny
There's
Rogers
Kenny
is-
ordering another round.
Well, now come on.
He
now.
was pointing at the barkeep, saying, "Bring another one."
No, he's trying to. Oh, come on, come on.
Oh!
Bobby Sharp had absolutely no business being inside the ring with the man.
Did you see Kenny signaling to the barkeep again? Send another round.
I'm not going to comment on
And
that.
staggering around like a lush.
Another slow. This is insane. Come on, you've got to do something. You got to, Kenny. You got to.
See, and there's Zbyszko calling timeout. He's trying to work with the referees to save Bobby Sharp's life. We're gonna have 2 funerals next week.
I don't even know what referees can do against this guy. Nobody can stop him as far
Well,
as
the
I'm
referees
concerned.
might have to start carrying tasers.
I don't think a taser would work, Mike. Come on.
Wow, just impressive. I like this guy. I want to take him out when I'm out. I want to take him out with me because then I can go shoot my mouth off, and Keith Walker will take care of business for me.
Mike, he's just the most impressive specimen I've ever seen.
You are looking at the future WFX One World Heavyweight Champion. If Larry Zbyszko has anything to say about it, and I have anything, I believe it. I'd bet on him.
I don't think anyone could beat this man.
Yeah, no, I'd love to do a cameo. That'd be perfect.
Johnny Fairplay!
Hey,
Johnny
no,
Fairplay.
this situation, woo woo!
Johnny Fairplay!
Hold on, stupid kid, hold on. I'll call you back. Hey,
Can I have your autograph?
sure. What's your name?
Austin.
Whatever. There you go. You have $30?
No.
Well, then you don't have an autograph, do you?
Hey, that's not fair.
I'm Jonny Fairplay. I don't play fair.
Ladies and gentlemen, at this time, I'd like to introduce to you Kip.
Yeah, he's definitely a top star, but you know, Mike, I'm a little disappointed, although it doesn't surprise me. What's up with Jonny Fairplay?
Some people don't like to give away autographs for free. I don't blame them. I don't give free autographs.
Do you even give out autographs?
Well, if I'm asked,
well,
I usually ask for $5. I don't ask for 30. That's a little steep.
Wow. Nonetheless, Jonny Fairplay.
I wasn't on Survivor, so I don't know.
I was going to say, nonetheless, Jonny Fairplay, an alumnus of Survivor, feels he has the right to ask a kid for $30 for an autograph. But,
last week, we saw Kip debut with a big victory over Michael Elgin. I'll tell you, there's a new fire lit in this guy.
Well, obviously, and he must have some very... I'm interested to hear what words of wisdom he has for us this week, as he's requested this time to come out and tell us what's on his mind.
He's like a man reborn, if you ask me. This is as good as I've ever seen him.
Yes, and his focus, as we talked about last week, is going after a singles world title.
Well, the fans obviously agree.
Apparently they do.
Now, Kip.
Do you have something to say?
I'll be quick. Kip, you're here in WFX, and I notice you're in the best shape of your life. You got a new spring in your step. Tell us about your new outlook on life.
I don't know if that's his outlook, but still.
Well, it's pretty simple what I'm doing here. You see, they say that teams are measured by, well, how many championships they've won. Or an Olympian by how many gold medals they've won. Now, mind you, I've had my success in this business.
Certainly, 10-time World Tag Team Champion.
That's right.
There's been good times. There's been bad times, and whatever was in between there. But you know what? The one reason that I'm here in WFX is to be, the one thing that's had eluded me is to be heavyweight champion of the world.
And I think he's got a good shot at it.
He might just be the man to do it.
Although Keith Walker. Wait a minute. Who would interrupt Kip in his moment of glory?
Charlie!
Charlie Haas!
Charlie Haas!
Charlie Haas! He hasn't even been a free agent for a month!
Ladies and gentlemen, Charlie Haas!
This is great for WFX.
This is an incredible event. I mean, I'm speechless.
I'm excited, yes! Reuniting of old friends.
I heard about this.
Yes!
The fans are definitely appreciative of Charlie Haas.
I heard WFX was the place to be, but I had to come find out firsthand. So I got on a plane, I came right up here. You're right. This is a place for opportunity.
WFX Overload has never been so studded with star power.
I mean, come on. I mean, right here, Kip, of all people, the one. That's right, he's had many names. Only one person. But you know what? You're standing in my way, Kip.
Ooh,
this is a bit
you
of a
don't
change.
belong here. Sure, you can come out here and you can talk about all the championships you've won. 10-time World Tag Team Champion.
Yeah, that's my count.
Well, you see, I know something about Tag Team Champion as well. I also know that what you're lying about to yourself and to all these people is that in a tag team, it takes two. And of all the great tag teams that you were in, the Young Guns, Rockabilly, D-Generation X.
Whoa. He's a little bit off. None of those were tag teams. They were Smoking Guns.
And Chuck and Billy, that you were the weakest link. You were the one that all those people had to cover up for your failures. They were the ones that made the tag teams great, not you.
Wow, some strong words from Charlie Haas. I thought these guys were friends.
Well, what's that say about Shelton Benjamin with him?
Let's go ahead. Let's walk into your singles career. All right, you won the first King of the Ring. But what did that turn into? The one Billy Gunn?
You shouldn't be talking
Badass
about
Billy
that.
Gunn? No. They slapped you on your ass, they fired you and sent you to TNA.
Well,
And what did you do there?
I guess he's got some points, though.
You and Road Dogg, you guys try to rekindle D-Generation X? Well, everyone knows that the only reason why DX got over is because of Shawn Michaels and Triple H, not because of you two.
These are really inflammatory comments. He's just
And so what happened at TNA? You got fired there, and now you're here at WFX.
And what happened to you, Charlie?
Well, you know what?
Why are you here, Charlie?
You're a waste of space.
Wow.
You're a waste of life.
Oh, man.
All you do is take up air, and you're taking up my opportunity to be the WFX World Heavyweight Champion. My opportunity to resurrect my career, to prove to everybody that Charlie Haas is the greatest wrestler in the world.
Wow. Greatest wrestler in the world?
That's not only a bold statement, that's beyond bold, Mike.
I can't imagine what a way to make a statement and debut in WFX Overload, but to come out and talk down to one of the top guys in the business. And I think Kip is stumped. I don't think he knows what to say.
There is definitely a score to be settled here now after those comments, and I'm not even sure what to say.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, our next match weighing in at 215 pounds from Tehran, Iran.
Oh, I don't like
Arya,
this guy.
You're not a fan of the
Arya.
Daivaris, I know.
Daivari.
There is something wrong with this guy.
Well, he's not afraid to speak his mind, and he's not afraid to tell people how he feels he's being treated poorly. I'm not saying that I agree with him, but I'm saying he does have the right to say what's on his mind.
Does he?
Absolutely. This is a free country.
I think he disgusts me. And I usually like the bad guys. And he disgusts me.
Well, I'm not saying I'm a fan of the way he operates inside the ring either, but I'm saying we live in a country that allows us to speak our minds, correct? This is the greatest country in the world. We're the greatest continent in the world.
Why does he bring the carpet?
Well, I mean, obviously it's part of his culture.
He could do that in the back before he gets called out.
Well, I guess
he's doing it to alienate the fans.
Well, you could be right, absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, now he's got something to say. Why don't we even listen?
Kill his mic, please. I hope the audio truck is listening. We don't need to hear what he has to say.
Now maybe he's got something nice to say. Let's just listen, okay?
Do you want to translate?
I could, but I'd like to let you just listen, okay? He said the word Daivari. I caught that.
This is just offensive to me. He said his name was something other than Arya Daivari.
You know what? I don't understand what he's saying, Mike. I have no idea. And none of these people here understand either, do they?
Well, there's one, because they would like him to say it in English, which he's perfectly capable of doing. I like his passion when he talks, though, not to contradict myself.
Well, maybe you can explain to me why he feels the need to shout and scream.
Well, sometimes you don't think people can hear when they're yelling at once.
I guess so.
Weighing in at 207 pounds from Chicago, Illinois, anarchist Arik Cannon!
I have a bit of a problem with Eric Cannon and the promotion of a funeral.
Well, you know,
the guy's been on Facebook.
It was a memorial service.
The guy's been on Facebook all hour trying to get the guest list up to 300.
Well, obviously he feels terrible about, I would call it a setup, if you will.
I don't think he felt terrible. I think he was excited that Larry Zbyszko might come to this funeral next week.
He wants it to be a memorial service. Don't forget that.
Hopefully to the career.
And he wants it to be good. Well, maybe. I mean,
I feel bad for Luke. He should never have ended up in that match. We've seen Keith Walker do some despicable things.
Well, we just did a few.
But you know what? Kind of, Luke, maybe. I'm not saying Luke deserved it, but if you're going to lie about your age,
Did Luke lie about his age?
Well, I don't think he's 33, 36, 45, or whatever age he finished at.
Well, I did.
He was aging rather rapidly the way it was going up.
He was, actually. You're right. I guess maybe he wasn't completely honest.
Or he was aging in dog years.
Cannon now trying to get the crowd behind him, and I don't think he's going to have a problem against one of the Daivari brothers.
Well, I've asked the people in the truck if they know that language. I believe it's called Farsi.
Okay.
To please translate into what he said, because if it was inappropriate for television, we're past our 7-second delay, but we need to know for next time that he's not allowed to say it.
Okay, well, we'll have to look into that, I guess.
I shouldn't be saying this on our TV episode. I should wait, memo everyone in the company, but whatever was said, if it was inappropriate, it will never be said again. I promise.
Okay, well, I'm glad you've got that taken care of, and Daivari now taking care of Cannon in the corner, and sends him across the other side, and Cannon with the float over into an arm drag.
Beautiful. Both these guys,
and a hip toss for good measure,
despite their differences in political views, are extremely talented.
That was a shot with authority.
And they're, other than the fact that Eric Cannon's partner may never come back because he's traumatized by what happened to Bushwhacker Luke, Eric Cannon, a member of the WFX One World Tag Team Division, Arya Daivari with his brother Sheik Sean Daivari, a member of the Tag Team Division. So this is a match that has a lot of layers to it.
Well, sure, this is one half of one tag team versus one half of another tag team, like you mentioned. And this is actually a good feeling out process, because you know the tag team division is heating up here in WFX.
Oh!
Whoa! Wow. You know that these two guys are going to team up with their prospective, their usual partners, I should say, and this will probably end up being another match.
Or maybe they'll swing and they'll team up with different partners.
Well, I'm really not going to comment on that, except Daivari now is begging for forgiveness from Cannon. And
even that, though, seems
going to get it.
Even that seems that. Thank you, Eric Cannon. Thank you. He did the right thing there.
Oh, sure. He stepped on his hand. Cannon up in the corner now. We know what's going to happen here. Looks like he's going for 10, folks.
And where's Kelly Russell going?
Well, he's counting right now.
I thought he was saying enough's enough and leaving.
Well, maybe he should. Oh, Cannon tried the float over again, but Daivari a little too smart. Caught him with a clothesline pinfall. Two count.
I have to say, I do like Arya Daivari's passion, his fire, his intensity.
Sure, he wants to win at all costs.
I wish that he would channel that into being a better wrestler as opposed to being a better political activist.
Well, you know, you might have some good points there, Mike, but he is a pretty talented wrestler in his own right.
Yeah.
Like that. Look at that knee. Daivari now going again for a pin. Oh, you know, he almost got him there. That was a very close call.
Yeah, if Kenny Rogers had been roughing the lush, it probably would have been a 3 count.
I really don't know if I can comment on
I
that.
wouldn't say it if I didn't see Kenny Rogers drinking. I'm telling you, I saw it with my own eyes.
Are you sure maybe you...
Don't call me a liar.
I've just asked you, are you sure maybe you weren't the one that was perhaps supplying him with this alcohol?
No.
Well, you seem so confident. I don't know, Mike. Two different styles here in the ring like we talked about, but in a unique way. Kick to the face. In a unique way, though, very evenly matched, would you not say?
Yeah, well, I would agree with that. Both of these men are very creative. The way they can, wow, the way they can turn it around is incredible. They're very talented.
It's been a lot of back and forth, and now Cannon is signaling for something big. Is he going up the top, maybe a moonsault?
That would be a heck of a way to end the cashgoodpointsbad.com main event.
Nobody home. Daivari returns the favor with a kick to the face. Daivari going for the pin. 1 second away, Mike. But Cannon able to kick out.
What a matchup. Well,
bit of a closed fist.
Yeah, but
yes.
Kelly Russell was on it with a stern warning and a lecture.
Missing with a clothesline. And now you don't see this too often, but the good old-fashioned sleeper hold.
And immediately he got him to his knees pretty quick. Cannon might already be tired from all that promoting of a funeral he's been doing.
You know, he has been running around the building all day.
Well, he doesn't want his first funeral to be flat.
I think we really got to remember, Mike, we got to call it a memorial service. It's a funeral. It's not a funeral.
What's the difference?
Well, I just don't think Bushwhacker Luke has left us. Cannon with a couple of shots to the gut and back to the sleeper hold. Very smart wrestling from Daivari, but reversed into a belly to back. And both men are down right now. Referee Kelly Russell checking on them both and starts the count.
I don't mean to be very picky, but to correct you, it was a back suplex.
Pardon me, thank you.
No problem.
That's why you're the color guy, and you drop in with those comments.
Well, I just happened to see what it was. You just happened to call the wrong move.
Well, I'm glad you put me in my place and let everybody out there know that that's what it should have been called. Both men now making it to their feet. Wow, an uppercut and a block and a chop. Cannon now sending Daivari across the ring. Clothesline. Another clothesline. Cannon with things in his favor. Nice flying elbow. And look at the agility.
And there was no need to do that handstand flippy thingy.
Is that what it was called?
Oh!
Well, what would you call that?
A concussion.
An impressive maneuver nonetheless. 2 count. And Daivari kicks out.
This has been an amazing match. I've seen both guys have the opportunity to win it here on the CashGoodPointsBad.com main event tonight.
Yes, the tide turning back and forth. And once again, the tide turns again.
I would love to be the dentist for WFX Wrestling because you'll make a lot of money.
Wow. The uppercuts are flying tonight. A nice slam. And Daivari now setting him up. Wait, where's he going?
What is he doing with that carpet?
What is the purpose of this? I agree with you, Mike. There's no need.
No.
Daivari trying
what
to
are you doing?
Some insult to injury, I guess.
No.
Up on the top rope with his carpet.
You're going to get us kicked off the air.
Frog splash, and he missed. He missed, Mike. Cannon now. Kick to the midsection. Brainbuster he called for. Carpet as well. That is insult to injury. Ow! He knocked him out. He knocked him out.
Wow! What a way to win!
Impressive victory by Arik Cannon.
You know, this is a good week for him. He wins his main event match in the CashGoodPointsBad.com main event. He's got people coming to this funeral.
Memorial service.
Whatever. What is the difference?
The difference is Arik Cannon has defeated Daivari right here on WFX Overload, and he couldn't be happier.
Wow, I wouldn't be surprised if, I would not be a bit surprised if Arya Daivari doesn't need to go to a back specialist. Why? Shoving people?
I'm not sure what that was about, but...
trying to pick more fights. You win a match, you want another match right away.
You know what? It was definitely a mistake for Daivari to grab the carpet for whatever reason he chose to do so, and it cost him.
Well, maybe he thought it would suffocate his opponent.
I don't know, but you can tell. Look, I mean, look at the glaze in his eyes we saw a second ago. I wouldn't be surprised if he's got a concussion. Look at him. He's not all there. That kick to the head was just devastating.
Arik Cannon is your victor in the CashGoodPointsBad.com main event. If you want to know more about WFX, check out WFXWrestling.com. Thank you.